Hi, guys. This is Kevin. I am here with my tutorial for exercise 2 associated with chapter 11 in the Severance Python book. And this is an exercise 2 that I cooked up for my class. It's not one they're going to find in the book. And at this point, we're moving on to a slightly more challenging regular expression use case. And the skill that we're trying to demonstrate here is we want to use the find all function in the RE module to extract matches. So we're going to use find all because we want to extract the matches. We don't just want to see whether it matched or not. And we want to use a more complex pattern for the regular expression. And so here's what we're going to do in this example. We're going to search through a text file again because we're getting pretty good at that. We want to print out each of the character string that matches a phone number expressed in one of the following three forms. Now, these are three popular encoding schemes for American phone numbers, where we've got 3 digits a dash, 3 digits a dash, 4 digits, or 3 digits a period, 3 digits a period, 4 digits. That one's pretty popular with people who put phone numbers onto business cards and letterhead and kind of advertising text. And then the last one, the kind of the traditional one in the U.S., where the first 3 digits, the area code, are enclosed in parens, and then there's a space, then 3 digits, a dash, and then 4 digits. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to get this done, and we're going to build it up. So we're going to do one. We're going to do one pattern at a time. Okay, so let's think about what we do. Well, we need to import the RE module. So import RE. Okay, that was pretty easy. We're going to need a main. Okay, so let's define a main. And let's put pass in it so that it won't be empty and my editor won't be complaining. This again is going to be a one-purpose file. This module file is just to be run as a main. It's just really a demonstration program. Okay, so let's just have a call to main. Okay, so we've got the overall infrastructure set up, and let's go to this, and let's begin by doing my usual, print out a polite description of what the program does. Okay. Let's say extract matches to 3 different phone number patterns from input file. Okay, that kind of does it. Oh, and this time I'm going to remember \n to make sure that I get a blank line. All right, well, never too early to test. Let's give it a test. And let's look at that. Well, that looks beautiful. It's just what I want. Okay. Let's look at this. Okay, so let's do our usual. We're prompt for the name of the input file. So let's call it infile name equals input. and then the prompting string, please enter the input file name. All right, that looks good. And then let's open it. Okay, so let's say we're going to hold the handle to the file. We're going to put that in the variable in file. So we're going to call the function open and pass it in file name. And one of the interesting things is that a lot of times, even programmers who put their character strings into double quotes, you'll find them, and I'll do this sometimes, we'll put the character string to indicate the function that you want, which is read, lowercase r. We'll put it like that into apostrophes. It doesn't matter. Okay? There's no real reason why it has to be apostrophes rather than quotes. In fact, this time I'm just going to put it into double quotes for the heck of it, okay? There we go. So we have our open. All right. And let's just run that. We're not going to test the open part of it. Well, we're going to test it's not going to blow up. That'll be a thing to do. So what do we want to call this data file name? Well, let's call this one phone number input. Okay, that'll be easy to remember. So let's do it. So new file phone number input.txt. Okay. And for right now, let's just have it be empty. So I'm going to hit the save sequence, which on my Mac is Command S. And it doesn't even do anything. If I don't even have a line, it doesn't create a subsequent line. Okay, that's great. So that's properly saved. Now let's give this a test. Okay, so come up here, run a test. And let's call it phone number input.text. And it seemed to open it okay, right? We didn't get any complaint, so that's always a good sign. All right, so let's do a little bit of the work here. So we're going to read this input file as elegantly as we can, and that, for me, when I have a file of character strings, it always looks like this: for line in file. Okay, very robust. It takes care of even empty files. Okay, so we're not going to do the body of the loop if there are no lines in file. So we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so how does find all work? Well, it returns a list. So what would a list of phone numbers that we extracted be called? Well, to me, phone numbers sounds like a great name for it. Phone numbers gets assigned. Okay, so we're going to say package name, module name, re dot find all. And we're going to pass it a pattern. Okay. And then we're going to pass it the string that we want it to process. In this case, this is going to be line. Okay, so that's good. Now we do have some decisions to make here. So let's take the first one. Let's just take the easiest one here. 3 digits, a dash, 3 digits, a dash, 4 digits. How could we do that? Well, okay. a digit is \D. Okay, and if we want to not have to type that over and over again, then we can use the repetition factor, which goes into curly braces. Okay, and that we could put a 3 there. Okay, that sounds good. And then let's put the dash or the hyphen in to represent itself. Okay, and then we need 3 digits again. Well, I'm not going to type that again. I'm just going to copy paste it. 3 digits again. Okay, and then we're going to need a hyphen. And then we're going to need 4 digits. So I'm just going to copy 3 digits. And I'm going to change the repetition factor to 4. That looks pretty good. All right. Okay, now I just want, for those of you who already see the problem, I don't want you to go too crazy, but I've got a problem here. All right. One of my problems is I don't have any test data. So let's create some test data. Let's create one test input line. And then let's just, I live in area code 847. So let's put 847 555 1212. Okay, that's it. All right, that looks good. And I'm going to save it with a Command S. It would be a Control S. And as you can always see this next line number pops up when you save it. So you know you've done a good job there. Okay, so if I didn't have any problems, I would have gotten a 1 phone number into this list. Oh, and how am I going to know? Well, for right now, let's just print out phone numbers. So let's say okay, let's do it for the line. Okay, we're going to do it line by line. So let's say print phone numbers. Okay, so I would expect to get one that qualifies because it's the proper format, right? 3 digits, a dash, 3 digits, a dash, 4 digits. Okay, that looks good. So let's run a test. And it's phone numbers input. .text. And it is not working. Well, that didn't work. Phone numbers input.text. Phone number input.text. I like the one that I didn't actually use. So how could I fix that? Well, let's go up and refactor rename. So let's refactor rename. And let's call it phone numbers input and refactor it. You can see that's already changed up here. So when we run it again, it's going to be what occurs to me. They only have to agree, right? So phone numbers input.text, and that matched. Very, very nice. That's actually working a little better than I was expecting. So I will take a pause here and investigate. Well, at least in theory, that shouldn't have worked. And here's the problem that we're trying to head off. Okay, and even though I got away with it, in certain circumstances, we might not get away with it. So I want you to know this. The fact is that the backslash character is in a Python character string. It is the beginning of the way to escape things in Python character strings. So how do you make sure that it's not being interpreted as an attempt to use some kind of escape sequence to put a special character into the string? Well, you have to make sure that you use the way that you can put a backslash in WizString, which is to put 2 backslashes there. Okay, so this is the first way to fix this problem. It's probably not a problem because \d probably isn't a proper escape sequence, but as a general habit, you're going to do well to always either double up on the backslashes, okay, even though this isn't normal regular expression syntax, okay, that's how to get it into a Python string. Or there's another solution, and I'll show you that in a minute, okay? So let's test this. Okay, we're going to test this again. And we're going to say that we want phone numbers input.text. Okay, so it did find our phone number, so that's good. Okay, now some people don't like this bit double slashing, okay? So there's another syntax that people use. To tell the truth, I use the double slashing, but there's another way to do this. There are these things called raw strings in Python. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this line. Okay. And I'm going to take one copy and save it as is. Okay. So I'm just going to toggle that into a comment. Now the one that's here, if I want to get the double slashes out of it, you use a syntax called raw strings. How do you say you want a raw strings? Well, right before you start this string, you put an R. Okay, that becomes a raw string, and that means that everything in there. So raw strings are another data type. Okay, they're a lot like strings, but they don't support character escaping. Okay, so when you say backslash something, you always mean backslash something. So a lot of people like to do this because it's then the string that they're using in their Python program might be the same as the string they would use in a Unix utility program, right? And they like that. Okay, well, you can do that. So let's test that. Okay, so let's give that a test. Make it a little bigger. Phone numbers input. .text, and that caught that again too. So you can do it either way. All right. This raw string idea is kind of interesting. Raw strings have some limitations on them in terms of, well, I forget exactly, but maybe full support for Unicode characters and stuff like that. So, it's kind of the devil, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you really want your pattern strings to look the same in Python as they look when you type them into, say, the Linux command line, well, then I think you're going to have to go with the choice that we just showed. Okay? I, on the other hand, I'm going to go with my original choice because I happen to like that better, and I think that's going to support more string features in the long run. Okay? And the fact is, I don't type a lot of regular expressions at the Linux command line. Okay, so I can remember to do this. You have to do this in Java as well, and I've been doing it in Java for a lot of years. Okay, so even though we got away without the double slashes or the raw string version in the beginning, I don't want you to do that. I want you to just always assume that you either have to put double backslashes in or you have to prefix the string with that R to say it's a raw string. All right? All right, so that's working. Let's do a little bit more. Okay, so wouldn't it be better instead of printing out a list as a list that we go through the list and we iterate through the list and print them? So why don't we do this? Why don't we say for number in phone numbers, this is the classic for in or for each loop, print number. Okay, now that's going to look a little bit better. So let's give that a test. All right, and this is I'm sorry, phone numbers input dot text. Okay, so now it's not coming out looking like we're looking at the internals of a list. It's really coming out, we're creating a sequential list. Okay, so what's the next thing that we want to do? Well, let's make sure if we have two of them on a line that we get them both. Okay, all right, so let's do let's see, 217 555 1212. Okay, that would be in Champaign, Illinois. And then let's do 414 555 1212. That would be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And let's make sure we save that. Okay. And so what am I expecting? Well, I'm expecting three numbers, the 847, the 217, and the 414. Well, let's see if we get that. Oh, as long as we're here, let's make sure that we don't croak on a blank line. Okay? We shouldn't, but just want to make sure. That's proper testing. Okay, so let's run our test again. Phone numbers input. Text. I got all three, and I did not croak on the blank line. Isn't that nice? I'm feeling good about that. So it handles more than one on a line. That's good. Okay. Because when we're coming back with two, it's putting both matches into our list. So the first line that we match, we come back with the first number in the list. Then I think we have a blank. We don't get anything in the list, so we don't print out anything. And then the last of the lines we have, we match twice, so we extract them both. Pretty sweet, huh? Okay. Now, let's make sure that we don't accidentally match phone numbers in a different format. Well, how could we do that? Well, let's look at phone numbers input, and let's just take these, okay, and let's copy them, and let's do them in the other formats, okay? So let's do the dot format. This is the one that graphic designers are very fond of. Okay. All right. And then let's uh, copy it again. I still have it loaded up, so I'm just going to paste it. And let's do it in the more conventional way with the parens around the area code. Okay, the space between those two. Okay, so parens around my area codes. Okay, and space between the area code and the number. Okay. Alrighty, those look good. So I'm going to give that a save. Okay, and now I'm going to come back. I'm going to run this. And since I'm only looking for this, I'm going to get that line that has the alternative raw string version. I'm going to get that out of there. Okay. Since we're only looking for the conventional one separated by dashes, we should only be finding the same thing we got the last time. An 847, a 217, and a 414 separated by dashes. Okay, those look good. Let's see how that looks. So let's give this a run. Phone numbers input.text. And that's it. So we weren't fooled by any of those other patterns. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to address the issue, what if there are alternate patterns? What's the easiest way to do that? And the easiest way to do that is to use the OR expression, which is the vertical bar. Okay, the vertical bar on my keyboard is, I have an IBM keyboard here, Windows keyboard. It is the character that's over top of the enter key on the right side. It's over the backslash, and it's just a vertical bar. So what I can do is I can say that pattern, bar, okay, or another pattern. Okay, so what's the next one I want? Well, it's really the same thing as the first one, except instead of dashes, I've got dots. So I'm just going to copy the first part of the pattern, right? Paste it after the OR bar and say, oh no, in this one we're looking for dots. So we're saying that we'll either match the pattern with dashes or the pattern with dots. Okay, that looks pretty good. So let's make sure we've saved that and let's give that a run. Now what are we expecting? Well, because we cloned the data with dots, we're expecting to get the same answers, the 847, the 217, and the 414 with dots as well now, because that's part of our pattern. So let's give that a try. Let's run it. And let's say phone number is input. .text. And there they are. So we picked up the 3 dashed ones. We picked up the 3 dotted ones. Oh, we've got a problem. Now this is interesting. The last one seems to be matching even though it shouldn't. I'm not liking that. Let's look at it in the test data. Yeah, I missed this. Okay. But I don't know why that matched. Okay. I really don't. Let's see if we had the letter A there, if that would have matched. That's really frightening. Okay. Because that should not have matched. Okay, so let's run it again. I'm expecting the last one to drop off now. Okay. I know what my problem is. I know what my problem is already. What a silly goose I am. Okay, guess what? Period is both a, a character in its own right, and it's a meta character. As a meta character, as you remember from the lecture, it means any character at all. Oh, well, we don't want to match any character at all. What we want to match is the period. So how do we do that? Well, the way that you take a meta character and you say that you want it, you want that character itself, okay, is that you use the slash in front, use the backslash in front of it. Okay, we could do that. So, but it's not just one backslash, it's two. So in front of both of these separators, we need to add backslash, backslash. And here, backslash, backslash. How about that? All right. So let's go and let's have the test data. Well, it shouldn't be passing the last one. The last one has an A near that there instead of a dash, but it shouldn't pass. Let's just put it back to dash so we're not confused. Where is it? That's a dash. It's an accidental dash. All right, going to save that. Going to come back here. And now we should not be picking up that third one that was supposed to have the dot, but has the dash accidentally. Okay, so let's give it a run. Okay, and this is going to be phone numbers input. And we didn't get the last one. It's really testing for the dots themselves and not the dot meta character, which will match any character in the input. Okay, so let's fix the input so that the last one has a proper dot, the 414, and let's rerun the test data. Okay. And we are going to do phone numbers input.text. And there it is. So it's got the three dashed ones, the three dotted ones, and let's make sure that we put in a set that all have some error in them. Okay, and make sure that they're not going to accidentally match. Okay, so this last one doesn't have, this one doesn't have the leading paren. The next one doesn't have the trailing paren. The next one has a dot where it should have had a dash. Okay, so these last three, the ones on 10, 11, 12, they shouldn't be coming out. So we should have our three dashes, our three dots. Okay, let's make sure we give that a save. Come over here, give it another run. Phone numbers dot text. Phone numbers input.text. Yeah, okay, so we didn't get suckered on any of those bad values. Again, you have to test for good cases and bad cases. Luckily, I accidentally typed in a bad case and I caught some bad code, didn't I? All right, so how are we going to match this last one? Well, it turns out that the space doesn't is not a meta character, so we can just type the space in as itself. The dash was not a meta character either. It turned out because the dot or the period was a meta character, that's why we had to go escaping it. But the parens aren't, the space isn't, the dash isn't. So we don't have any meta characters in the last one. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to say, I'm going to put in one more potential pattern. So just the OR bar again. And then let's take that first version, because I think we're closest to the first version here. Okay. And the first version looks like this. Okay. And let's put that after the OR bar. Okay. Now let's see, we've got 3 digits, but before the 3 digits, we want to have a paren, left paren. Okay. After the 3 digits, we want to have a paren space. Those are both can just be literally typed in. And between the 3 and the 4, we want the dash, just like we did. So this should match paren, 3 digits, right paren, space, 3 digits, hyphen, 4 digits. Okay, and we've just strung these along. We've said or here, we've said or here. So we've really given it 3 separate patterns, and we just say pattern 1 or pattern 2 or pattern 3. Okay, pretty straightforward stuff. So make sure that's saved. Let's give it a run. We're expecting to pick up, do we have any data like that? Yeah. Well, we do. Let's just repair this. Oh yeah, here we go. We've got this third set. This third set is proper. Oh, okay. It's the fourth set that all have some error in them. Okay, so we should get the first set of 3, then the second set of 3, and then we should get the third set of 3. Okay, let's go and give it a run. Let's run our test. Okay. Phone numbers input. .text. And that did not turn out well at all. It did not. Time for a quick investigation, team. Be right back. Well, we're back. And how did that go wrong? Well, it went wrong because of a wrong assumption. So one of the issues is which of the characters that we're looking for are meta characters, which if we're looking for them literally have to be escaped. Well, we found out the hard way that the period is. Well, guess what? The parens are as well. So it's the parens that we put in without escaping them with a // that are getting us into trouble here. Okay, well, let's just look through. Let's see. We've got this third pattern starts right here. And we have a paren. Okay, it's unescaped. Let's put a double / in front of it. Double back. Okay. Let's find that right paren. Okay, that's right here. It needs a double /, double back. Okay, now we've solved that problem. Okay. So let us go type our stuff in again. Let's ask for phone numbers input. .text. And aren't they all there? So one of the things for me is I do find them hard to read. Even if we just had to put in a single / to escape a lot of these characters, I would find it a little bit hard to read. Okay. And having to double up, I think, makes it even more busy to the eye. Of course, we could use that raw string format, which would cut the number of backslashes in half, and that would be a little bit more attractive. But the way we have it, we've had to backslash the D because that's the meta character. We've had to backslash the period because that's a meta character. Um, uh, no, I'm sorry. We've had to backslash the D to turn it into a meta character. We've had to backslash the period to turn it out of a meta character. And we've had to backslash the parens to turn them out of being meta characters and having them just be literal characters. So the D, for instance, if you use it without the backslash in front of it, it's just looking for a D. Okay, so this kind of getting the characters to work the opposite way, represent their literal value, or to have some kind of a meta character meaning. We flip them the other way from their default by escaping them, which in our case with a regular string, it's going to take a double backslash. And that's it. I think we've got good code. We've got good testing coverage here. Let's just go up and check let's just go up and inspect the code. I always like to do that when I remember. And let's see what we got. No suspicious code found. So it seems to like our code. So that's it. Your assignment's going to be kind of equally challenging. Same kind of idea. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.